is going to be interesting to most of you because we are all consumers and we're interested in getting a good deal when we get a discount. Okay, so I'm going to call this markups, and I know some of this comes back later, but this is my prelude to what's coming. Markups and discounts. Okay, so write that down on page 40. There's a blank page there. So the first term that we're going to talk about is markup. A store owner buys a product for the purpose of resale. It is common to increase So when a store owner buys a product and intends to resell it, right? It is common to increase the wholesale price of an item, and this markup is also called the profit. Okay, so I'll give you a little illustration here. So you have the wholesaler, right? That brings it to the store. And after the store, it goes to the consumer. Okay, so what happens here is, let's say we're talking a specific item. So let's say that item is worth 10 bucks. So the store orders a few items and they're marked at $10 each. And that would be considered we would start with 100%, which is the original item from the wholesaler that supplies the store, right? When it comes to the store, that item that used to be $10, okay, which is the 100%, will usually have a little amount tacked onto it. So let's say the store owner wants to add 10% of the original value to that item. So it wants to basically make a profit of 10%. 10% of $10 would be $1. Okay, so it's essentially saying, hey, I'm gonna increase the value of this item that I plan to resell by $1. So in this case, it's 10%. Okay, and the consumer sees that item, and all that consumer will see is the $11. Like it will not see what happened behind the scenes. Okay, that increase, that markup is invisible to you. You don't know how much more was added by the store. That's why when you go to Amazon or to different stores, the prices of an item will vary, and it's most likely because different stores, different places add a certain amount to it based on what they think they want to make on it. Okay, so essentially, compared to the original value, you are now as a consumer paying 110% instead of just 100, right? You're paying 110%. We call that the retail. That's what you pay at the store. That's the retail price. Here, I'm just going to say, just split this up into wholesale There's a wholesale price, and this 10% is the markup. Okay, so the wholesale and the markup, it's under 10% at the end, and this is just a wholesale, of course, that provides the store tax on something, and then it's the retail. Right? So essentially, this markup, this little chunk that the store adds, it's also called the profit. That markup, the amount that you're going up by, that's how much a store owner is essentially putting in his or her pocket, right? So you need to understand that concept very well, okay? For life, not just for this course. Taxes. That's the next one I'm going to talk about here. Most of the time, we pay GST, which is 5%, plus PST, provincial sales tax, right? 7%, which amounts to 12%. We can treat this as a markup as well. Think about it. Markup. Think about it. The province is essentially, or the government is essentially adding 12% to what you saw on the shelf, right? So it's also a certain, you can call it a markup as well, okay? So essentially, if you think of the item that you see on the shelf as the retail, if this is the retail plus tax, so let's say the retail is now for you as the customer or the consumer, it's 100, taxes of 12%, that ends up being 112% of what you originally saw in the shelf, okay? So this is an important concept to understand. It's very similar to what happened up here, except for the concept is slightly different, right? And the last item is discount. Also known as markdown. This applies when a store, right, it cuts or shaves off a percentage, and most of the time, let me just finish this sentence. Most of the time, markups and discounts, or any, it's usually a percentage, right? 25% off, right? 35% off, 30% off. It's always percentage. There are stores, right? Like I like the outdoors. I go to Cabela's. A lot of times Cabela's has like a certain dollar amount off, right? Like, so if you want to buy this item, you get a $50 discount. So sometimes it's a dollar amount, sometimes it's a percentage. If it's a percentage, you need to calculate that, right? It's not just going to be as easy as just subtracting, right? Retail minus discount. So let's say the retail for us as a consumer, this is from a consumer's perspective. Let's say you get 15% off as a discount. You actually end up paying 85%, right? 85% is left there. So think of it as you're paying less than the original 100% that you saw in the shelf. Okay, so we're gonna. I just wanted to write these notes down. That's all I'm gonna do for today. What I'm gonna ask you to do is just to refresh. Okay, this is for you homework, and sorry, I hope that you had this written down. Go back to pages. Where did this start? I think it started on page 37. Page 37 and on, everything before this, the notes we just took. There's a bunch of simple skills that you just can review. So if you just take a moment to go through that, if you haven't done my survey yet, go there, go to classwork, go to Friday's lesson. There's a survey I'm asking you to do. You're gonna have to log in with your school email, and that's it. So thank you guys. Have a great afternoon, and I'll see some of you tomorrow in person. And if not, I'll see you online. So have a good day. Okay, you can leave now. See ya.